she would be considered high risk.
Hi guys, today's upload is quite different. If you've already read the title of the video, we're going to actually be talking about news that we got 3 weeks ago regarding my pregnancy and how I am considered a high-risk pregnancy. So as you know, when you go to a doctor's appointment, what they start off with is they take your vitals, and basically what happened with me is since my very first prenatal appointment, they noticed that my blood pressure was quite high. So what they would actually do is they would take my blood pressure in the beginning, and then I would go into the room, see my midwife, and then towards the end of the appointment they would take my blood pressure again, and just to see if it would lower. And it actually would. Not that much though, right?
Not that much, but it
Yeah.
would go down.
Yeah, but it was still
Considered high.
Still high. So what ended up happening is that my midwife, it was probably like my third or fourth prenatal visit, where she suggested that Aaron and I go out and buy a blood pressure machine just to keep track of my blood pressure at home. But I didn't think much of it, did you?
No, I mean, I knew it was important that we do, but we just didn't make time for it because it's just blood pressure. We didn't know too much about the blood pressure or how it could affect, the pregnancy or anything like that. We didn't really take it serious. It was one of those new parent sort of.
Well, not even that. It's just I've always been healthy.
Yeah.
So
we didn't think too much of it because we've never had this issue before with her blood pressure being high or my blood pressure ever being high, so we didn't really think that we needed to get a blood pressure machine, but we ended up going and getting it regardless.
Well,
but it did take the next appointment after the midwife told us, we still had yet to purchase it.
Yeah, so she suggested that we buy it. We didn't buy it. We returned, maybe it was like one or the next appointment or even the one after that.
That was the next appointment.
Was it right after?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So then, yeah, they checked it again, and it was still high.
So after that appointment, she said we do need to get the blood pressure machine so that we can take her blood pressure 3 times a day for the next week to keep track, and then we would have another appointment with a physician, not a midwife. We were going to see an actual labor delivery doctor who would then look more into the situation, knowing that her blood pressure has been high on every other appointment. So after we left the appointment, we purchased a blood pressure machine, and we tracked her blood pressure at home. And the blood pressure came high.
So like Aaron said, for that entire week I was tracking my blood pressure, and even like I remember even going in that day to the appointment, like
we already kind of knew after tracking the blood pressure all week that...
No. I did. I didn't.
So
that's the thing. Like I was still like.
She was under the impression, even though her blood pressure came back high almost every single
anything.
time, she didn't think it was anything. But I mean, the doctors are suggesting, hey, it's high blood pressure. Track it at home in a calm environment. Give her the best opportunity to get the blood pressure where it needs to be. And it wasn't. So when we went into the appointment with the physician, he said at first that it might be, before we mentioned all of the tracking that we did at home to the physician, he said it might just be white coat hypertension, which is, people just get nervous around doctors and so their blood pressure goes up. After we gave him the numbers at home, he immediately said that that's not the case and that she has high blood pressure, which could affect the baby, the birth. And so he prescribed some medications and mentioned to us that because of this, that she has to be monitored extra because of her high blood pressure, she would be considered high risk.
Just to add on to what I was trying to say before I started crying and Aaron took over, is even like you said, even though my blood pressure kept coming high during that week, I was still very optimistic. I didn't expect to be told that I had hypertension or that I was considered a high-risk pregnancy at all. So when we went in and he told me that, I was, I guess, in shock and denial. Especially like as a first-time mom. It's hard not to blame yourself or think that you're the one that did something wrong. I was blaming myself for it at first, but I've actually realized that every woman's body reacts differently to pregnancy, and this is just my body's way of reacting. It's not that I could have done anything differently before getting pregnant or even during my first trimester. It's simply that this is the way that my body reacts, and that's that. And all I can do from here on out is take my medication, take my blood pressure, continue eating healthy, continue exercising, and just taking care of myself. That's pretty much all I can do instead of beating myself up for something that I have no control over. So like we said, when I went into that appointment, I was 17 weeks. I was 16 weeks, 6 days, but whatever, 17 weeks. And then now I am 20 weeks. So it's been 3 weeks since we found out. Definitely had a lot of time to soak it all in and accept what's going on. We were also told that I might have to get induced at 37 weeks. It just depends how I continue with my blood pressure. What else did he say regarding it? I don't remember.
That was pretty much it. It was just your blood pressure was the main factor. If your blood pressure was high...
Didn't he mention something with the placenta?
Well, yeah.
It could affect the placenta?
Yeah, so if the blood pressure remains high, or if the blood pressure remains high, then the correct amount of blood to the placenta wouldn't be enough. Mm. Or it wouldn't be getting enough blood to the placenta, in which case it can age the placenta sooner, and that would obviously be very bad for the baby, and which is why he's recommending that we may have to induce you at 37 weeks, but we're hoping to do our best and try to go to term is what the doctor wants to do, but we do have to take it week by week and just see how she's feeling, see how the baby's feeling, and just see what the doctor suggests. It was hard to hear, right? Because you think about a pregnancy and how millions upon millions of women have had pregnancies, and most of them go very well. And then you hear something about, it's happening to you. Your wife has high blood pressure. This could affect the baby. This could affect the birth. It was hard to hear at first. It was hard to deal with. But you just kind of have to just reflect on it and just think, this is okay. It could be worse. We could have,
miscarried.
We could have miscarried. We could have something worse could have happened, or we could have been told that there was something else, something far more severe than high blood pressure. Not saying high blood pressure is not a bad thing, because it is a bad thing, but something worse could have came along, and we, for all we know, we wouldn't even be sitting here. So we're thankful. We're thankful that everything else is going right so far. We haven't heard anything else from the doctor. She's completely healthy other than her high blood pressure, which has been corrected because of the medication as of right now. As long as she continues to take it, then we should be fine. our biggest concern is the impact that it has on the baby. So we've done some research on the medication that she's taking, and there have been a few studies, but enough to know that there's no connection to the medication that is going to impact the baby severely or even mildly. We want to thank you guys all for joining us today and just kind of listening to what we have to say. We hope this kind of helps anybody who's kind of going through a rough time with their pregnancy as well, or know somebody who's going through a rough time. It's hard to deal with, but know that you're not alone. It's not something that is, you're the only one being struck with. So it's a fight you can definitely win, and it's just taking every day, one step at a time.
So like I said, we've had 3 weeks to just soak this all in and accept it. And we basically just wanted to make this video and put it out there for anyone in case you or someone you know are going through something similar. Just know that you're not alone, and if you have any questions, feel free to message us, reach out to us.
Just remember that we're not doctors, and if you guys do have any concerns about your pregnancies, you reach out to your physician or to your midwife. Just know that we're here to support you, give you the insight that we have for her pregnancy. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. If you want to continue watching what happens through our pregnancy, please go ahead and